You use isolation as an excuse for avoidant or anxious behavior. And that is doing a disservice to you. Hey, welcome back to Gray Matter. As always, hit the like button so we can continue to keep doing what we're doing. You feel me? So today's topic at hand is isolation isn't healing, in parentheses, always. So let me give you a rundown of the table of contents. We're going to start with a comparative analysis, big words, I know, of isolation versus solitude versus loneliness. And then we're going to go ahead and define what healing is. Dive into why I feel this way, my hot take, the pros and cons, and then the takeaway to close it out. Are you ready? Let me know if you are, because we're going to be moving fast, all right? And anything that I reference will be linked below in the description box, okay? So, what is isolation? According to Google, isolation is the process or fact of isolating or being isolated. Now, solitude is defined as the state or situation of being alone. And loneliness is defined as sadness because one has no friends or company. The fact of being without companions. Now, with everything that you just heard, do they sound one and the same? Do you feel that isolation is equivalent to solitude and loneliness? Or is isolation merely just you spending time with you? And how important is that to you? Spending time with you, taking care of you. Do you realize how that might affect you? Your self-esteem, your self-respect. There are so many people who along the way feel they've lost themselves, or maybe they've entered a relationship and are spending so much time with that person that they forgot what it feels like to actually spend time alone without being triggered by the fact that they're actually alone. Physically in isolation. Not to say that they don't have people that they could spend time with. You may feel that you're alone when you're isolated, when you have so much around you. Isolation is choosing to be by yourself. When you have options, when you can be with other people. That's my definition. Google can't touch this. Now let's jump into healing. What is healing? Google's dictionary defines healing as the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. So why do I say isolation isn't healing? Do we always have to be by ourselves to become healthy or sound again? My take is yes. I feel that isolation is a necessary part of the process when it comes to healing. Being able to filter out the noise and just tap into what you want to do today, what you want to eat today, what you want to watch today. Serving yourself. And it doesn't have to be to an extreme where you go on a rampage of spa day, retail therapy. It doesn't have to be that. That isolation could be just taking 20 minutes out of your day to go for a run. By yourself, of course. It could just be 20 minutes out of your day, spending time writing that book that you've wanted to write since high school. I love that the definition of healing is the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. Because what it picks at is the idea that to be healing or to heal, there's something wrong or something missing. Let me correct my statement. I'm recanting what I said. There's something missing
That's there or once was.
that has been sending signals to you, your brain, your immediate environment, that there's an essence of you that is hiding, that needs to come out. And it's not to say that you are completely unhealthy, that you're not serving yourself at all. No, it's to say that you could be doing a little better, checking in on you every now and again. And why I say isolation isn't healing always, because it's very easy to isolate yourself to the point where you become avoidant and anxious. And diving back into society or diving back into relationships feels triggering to the point where one thing doesn't go your way or someone disagrees with you and you just go back into isolation and you define it as healing. You use isolation as an excuse for avoidant or anxious behavior. And that is doing a disservice to you because you don't want to set yourself back by taking space to care for yourself. You want to find balance. You want to restore yourself and come back in stronger. When an athlete tears a ligament or has an injury, they don't want to come back in to the sport of their choice feeling anxious or avoidant, not wanting to do what they love to do. But sometimes it happens because we spend so much time just in our own energy, in our own bubble, that it gets deafening, almost suffocating, and we can't see it. We lose that sense of perspective that comes when we are engaging with others, when we are doing normal things. So it's important that in the balance of that isolation, that you are choosing to not become avoidant and anxious, not allowing yourself to be so far removed from the things that you want to do, the things that you would normally do with others, because you don't want to come to a point where you start to stunt your growth because you're being alone so much. I don't even want to use the word alone, because you're isolating yourself so much. Everybody's in their own mind, battling their own demons and working little by little, bit by bit, to come out of their shell. Healing comes in phases and stages, in seasons. Just as the seasons change, we do. And it's okay to embrace change little by little, not to always dive in head first and feel like you don't know what's going on because everything is new. Balance is what restores you, what makes you feel whole when you start to do things with the consciousnness and with the intention behind things, that I am taking time for myself to X, Y, and Z. I am doing this, because I want to strengthen this. But you don't want those muscles that in the time before healing, before you entered this period of isolation, to start to atrophy, to start to diminish, those social skills to start to go down. You don't want that. Find what your balance looks like for you. There is power in isolation. Doing things by yourself. Taking yourself out, going for a hike, going to a concert or the movies by yourself. It can improve concentration and memory, make your interests a priority, boost creativity, improve relationships, make you more productive, more empathetic, and at the same time, just don't do too much. Don't take it too far. Knowing when to slow down, knowing when to speed up, that is a gift and it takes time to learn. I'm still learning that. You can make yourself a priority and tend to your needs, your wounds, and still be active and engaged. You can be healing in more than one way. It's not so black and white all the time. Sometimes you need complete isolation and distance, and that's okay. But not living in that and allowing that to be your guiding light where you only tend to your needs, or you only prefer isolation because it feels good, maybe it only feels good now because you've been in it for so long. It's important to not let your isolation be the only stage of healing. There's healing where you go out and you experiment and you explore and you get triggered and you get brought back to where you are, where you actually are. Because there's where you think or where you thought you were, and there's where you actually are. And it's important that we have practice. We give ourselves space to practice. Season of reflection, learning, and growth, and a season of practice, experimenting, trial and error. It comes in waves, in phases. It takes form in different shapes. So if there's anything that I would leave you with, is to check on you, to see where you could use a little more love, a little more grace, a little more isolation, focus. And at the same time, see where maybe you've been focusing too heavily and could use some freedom or some just carefree energy. That balance is going to help to keep you sane, keep you longer, and make you stronger, and allow you to feel more whole. I want that for you. I wish that for you. But as is, your will is your way. This is My Gray Matter. Thanks for listening.